It's time for Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears, with your hosts, Alex.
Gosh, I have so many questions. Also, where's my car?
Splash.
Strive to love something as much as my grandmother loves buying new crock pots.
And Mac.
If you've ever been to Boston, you know that they have amazing ice cream.
Coming to you from coast to coast, it's L-A-R.
Welcome to Losses Above Replacement, which is provided by Losses Above Replacement, Inc. in the United States. Collectively, such entities will be referred to as Losses Above Replacement, we, or us.
We don't have the LLC yet, Splash. We're trying to work on that.
Darn it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Regardless, it's fine. We'll get there eventually when we actually make money doing this.
Yes, one day. One day it'll be more than my OnlyFans account.
Oh.
Okay, bold of me to assume that I do actually make money on that. By the way, subscribe.
Subscribe to us on YouTube and on Spotify.
Yeah, we have LAR Baseball. We have an Instagram. We have a Twitter account on X, which apparently if a certain someone wins the election, it'll be back to Twitter. So vote how you will, I guess.
We'll see.
Anyway,
I don't want to get political here, but I do have one question here. I see you and I see me. Why do we have Mac? Why are you not showing up on camera, man?
why is there a hockey stick?
Yeah, I didn't think you were into hockey.
Hey guys, it's Discount Mac here.
Oh my gosh,
Beautiful.
Mac from Wish.com. Where did you come from?
Wish.com, where else?
You know what? That's a good point. I didn't even say that about that. Oh my gosh. For those of you who don't know, this is Jack. Jack's really cool, good friend of the podcast here. How you doing, man?
I made the logo too. I'm doing pretty good. It's been a very, very stressful yet I guess rewarding last few days watching baseball for me. For the general public who has not heard of me, I'm a Dodger fan. We took the dub this year. I'm pretty psyched about it. So yeah, that's
very happy lad.
how things have been going.
In fairness, all three of us, Mac, sorry, not Jack, did pick the Dodgers to win the World Series. So
I mean, probably all four of us picked the Dodgers to win
yeah.
the World Series, to be fair.
Dodgers in 7 was my prediction.
Yeah, I had
did
Dodgers in
right.
6 with.
I had
Will
Dodgers
Smith.
in 5.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay.
Nice of him.
I had Will Smith winning MVP. That, of course, didn't come close to happening.
I think I said Shohei.
Probably.
The injury definitely got in the way of that. I feel like
I did. I'm sorry.
I
I can't predict him dislocating his shoulder and playing through it. But no,
What a
obviously
strange series.
it was. It really was. It. We'll talk about it more as the podcast goes on, but everything about this just didn't feel quite real. If you understand, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll definitely go into what I mean more a little bit later.
Sure. So for those of us who were living under rocks, Dodgers 4, Yankees 1. Dodgers win an iconic Game 1. Freddie Freeman hits the Kirk Gibson come from behind homer on one leg. Joe Davis with one of the calls of all time.
She is gone.
Yeah, historic game. And then after that, it was a bit of a snooze fest, not going to lie. Game 2, Game 3, go the Dodgers' way. The Yankees fight back, win Game 4. Then Game 5, the Yankees jump out to a 5-0 lead. Then it all comes crumbling down. 2 errors plus a little misplay at first base. The Dodgers score 5 runs in the 5th. The Yankees take the lead. Aaron Judge, sac fly. Then the Dodgers answer back with the sac fly in each of the next 2 innings. And 7-6, Walker Buehler closes it out. And Freddie Freeman, your World Series MVP, his Hall of Fame resume grows even longer. To me, he was a lock before the season started. He tacks on another great season. He's going to get some MVP votes. He gets the World Series MVP. Just another great season for Shohei. Of course, Shohei had a great season.
It was
another great season for Freddie. And yeah, now you're looking at the Dodgers' second championship in 5 years now. They've not closed one out in Los Angeles in quite a while, though. I will point that out. Just
one and a half championships. Let's keep it honest here.
No, I'm going to count 2020 because I'm a LeBron fan, so obviously 2020 has to count for me as well. So
I mean, I'm not going to say that it does though, because it's not even half a season.
okay, we will respect Will Smith, the Will Smith championship run. We will respect the Will Smith.
I do respect that 100%. The fact that we had a Will
straight
Smith,
Will
5
Smiths.
straight years.
Yeah.
5
So-
consecutive years of a Will Smith title.
Yes.
And it wasn't the same one every time.
Right. That would what? Okay, what's more insane? 2 different Will Smiths winning multiple championships, or if one Will Smith had won 5 straight, which would have been more insane.
One Will Smith won it both times, or every time, just because
if it was the same Will Smith that was bouncing around between teams, it's like I'm gonna relate it to hockey, like when or a similar instance in hockey. Remember Corey Perry lost 3 cup finals in a row?
Yeah.
It's kind of like on that.
Didn't
regard,
he win one eventually with Florida?
I think he won one with the Ducks. I want to say maybe he was on Florida too.
Now I'm on Hockey Reference. Corey Perry is he's a one.
Lost is what replaces the best baseball podcast talking about hockey.
Yes, so he was okay. He lost with Edmonton. Okay, I know knew he was in the Cup last year. I just didn't remember.
Patrick Maroon is the guy I was thinking of. He won 3 straight Stanley Cups.
That's
so nice. What you're trying to say then is assign him to your team. Then as soon as you get to the finals, cut him.
Yes. Marian Hossa famously played for the Penguins when they lost, and then came over to the Red Wings, and then lost to the Penguins, and then he was in the Cup the next year with Chicago. So he was in it 3 straight years. So Marian Hossa, legend.
I think if it was the same Will Smith that was bouncing around between multiple different teams, and he won 5 years in a row, that would be ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's basically what happened. That's basically what happened for reliever Will Smith for a bit.
Yeah. Although I will say, if it was like Dodgers Will Smith, if you won the championship 5 years in a row in this era with I know it's not a salary cap, but like luxury tax baseball, that would be insanity. You know, no team's gone back to back since the 91 or 99 2000 Yankees.
Yeah.
So that's impressive in its own way. And of course, Texas fell on their faces this year. And I would guess the Dodgers don't win the 2025 World Series.
I mean, I don't know about that one, though. That's the thing, is that next year... Here's the thing, right? Like, take a look at them over the course of this entire year. The biggest question mark when it came to the Dodgers was starting pitching, because health was their biggest issue overall, and it really affected their starting staff. And yet, they still easily made the playoffs and won the World Series in 5 games.
This is true, but they were also on the brink against San Diego. You know,
they were, but they still pulled it out, and that is with an entirely depleted starting staff. Watch what happens next year, where if you may actually have starting pitching. This
is fair. I'm just saying this is an argument like you get in with sports fans, like, oh, this team's not going to win the whatever. You are making a pretty easy bet there, pal. Like I get this a lot in the Ravens circles. Oh, they're not going to win the Super Bowl this year. Well, they're probably not. They're plus 650 to win the Super Bowl. That's the equivalent of you picking Florida to beat Georgia this week. And Georgia was like 17-point favorites. So, I mean, if you want to choose Florida, you can, but most logical people are going to choose Georgia, and it's not some crazy upset. And even the Dodgers, who would be probably plus 500, plus 450 right now, they're favorites to win the World Series next year.
That's just my thing, is that they're going to be favorites.
Yeah, they're favorites, but if you're taking, like, if you were a betting man and you had to choose Dodgers or the field and you got even money for both, you would choose the field. Yeah, you take the field.
Because that basically just becomes the Monty Hall problem at that point.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah. Like, here's my thing, right? Like, when I say that they're not, when you say they're not going to win, and I disagree with that, that's not me saying they are going to win. That is me saying I think that they have a very good chance of winning it again.
No, they have the best chance of winning it again.
Yeah.
Well, because their again is actually an again. Every other team, it's not an again because they beat their first
I know what you mean on that. So basically, it just comes down to, at this point, looking at the team, what are they losing in the offseason? Like, legitimately, are they getting weaker this offseason? And I don't see any pieces where they're getting weaker. And all I see is potential more strength coming to this team. considering that they're still trying to get more and more players, still trying to get more and more pieces because they've been able to work through their contracts.
Free agents.
I mean, they already have the best first baseman in baseball. Why would they need Matt Olson?
I said Juan Soto.
Oh, I heard Matt Olson.
Oh, no.
I don't want to speak it into existence, Soto going to the Dodgers.
No, go ahead. Please do. Please do.
As long as he doesn't go to the NL East, I do not care. I don't care if the Dodgers sign Burns and Fried and Soroka. Soroka is not even a free agent, I don't think. Why would you even sign Soroka? You have Kopech. You have enough of the 2024 White Sox. They could sign Burns. They can sign Snell. They can sign Fried. They can sign Christian Walker. They can sign Pete Alonso. They can sign Juan Soto. As long as he's not going to the NL East, I do not care. Also, the Nationals should sign both Burns and Christian Walker, and they'll win the World Series next year. Anyways,
I very much do. Is it sad? Like, I don't want any team to sign Soto just because I feel like at this point it's just going to cause me pain as a sports fan.
So like, you want Soto to be unsigned?
You want him to be unsigned?
I know he just needs to sign with Boris and he'll go unsigned. It's fine.
I think he's a Boris client.
Is he a Boris client?
Yeah,
cool. He's going to go unsigned until after opening day.
I promise you that's not going to happen. He's going to get $600 million and you will like it, Alex. Hopefully it's...
No, I'm going to be sad regardless. Although to be fair, how do you feel that apparently the two most likely landing spots right now for Soto are re-signing with the Yankees and the Metropolitans?
Yes, that's why I say do not come to the NL East.
He's going to go to the Mets.
I
think I've already offered him a lot of money too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, obviously, every team in their right mind has offered him money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is shoot, man. In 2019, he was getting Ted Williams comparisons, and you look at it now, it's 2024, and he might as well be Ted Williams. The counting stats, it's not quite Ted Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's because he's having to face relievers like multiple times as opposed to facing a starter 3 times a game, if not 4 times a game. There's a variety of factors here, but I think on a true talent level, and if you want to gatekeep and say, well, Ted Williams is better. Juan Soto did, in fact, win a World Series. Ted Williams did not win one of those. So I'm just going to throw that out there. So Ted has some things that Soto will never have. Soto has something that Ted will never have. Deal with it.
It works. Although I will say, I still am very abhorrently against the idea that having World Series rings makes you better than others.
Oh, I know. That's totally fair. I'm just pointing out that if Ted Williams would
of course.
I would imagine Ted Williams would trade a Triple Crown for winning a World Series. Although he really didn't like Boston, so I don't know.
I don't know if he would, just because I think the Triple Crown is more rare. One a year versus 26 a year.
Well, but one's like the ultimate goal of winning like a team sport. One's
and the other one is basically showing that I am the best on the planet at this.
And your team still lost.
But that's what I'm saying right now is that it depends on what you value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you Freddie Freeman where you value the team trophy, or are you someone else who values only their own individual ideas?
Like if Lamar Jackson had his way, he'd rather be the backup quarterback on a Super Bowl winning team than the starting quarterback winning the MVP on a team that doesn't win a Super Bowl. But I guess that's just a player.
Again, that's an ideology thing.
Yeah, that's just a player preference. So I have a couple questions for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We can do this in the style of 3 words only, or we can just do a yes or no style. Whichever you prefer.
I'm down for 3 words words only. This
my brain's not working, but I'll try it.
Okay,
I believe in you. I believe in you, Discount Mac. You got this.
All right, Alex. The 2025 World Series teams will be.
So it's got to be a 3-word thing. So it'll be team and team.
Yes.
I'm just gonna make you mad because it's funny. I'm gonna go Mariners and Mets. Because the Mets are going to...
All right, Jack.
The Mets are going to sign Juan Soto, and the Mariners are going to actually play up to their potential. So, good job. Nice try. Remember, I can also do that. See here. Wee-hee! Now it's just us.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
No, it's fine. Like I that is honestly though a prediction of mine. So I do think that the Yankees are the better team. I just want to put faith in that Seattle's actually going to do something, and I'm trying to speak it into the universe. If I have to be like fully logistical brain, not Homer brain, I would go probably. I think I'm going to keep it as. I'm going to go Yankees-Mets. It's going to be a Subway Series.
Okay. Jack.
Although I do want to say one thing, though, real quick. I do not think the Yankees are as strong as people say they are. Looking at them, yes, Soto, Judge, Stanton, that power throuple there is incredible. But they're losing Soto potentially. I think it might go to the Mets. You have Giancarlo Stanton, who's just getting older here, and Judge is Judge, who is incredible. I'm not going to say anything bad about him. He's a good lad. Stanton, I have a lot of problems with. Yes, I think that he's very, very good. But it's the consistency that I worry about when it comes to him. There was a big joke for a long period of the season this year that the 4 through 9 hitters for the Yankees were absolutely horrendous, and they were relying on basically just 3 guys. And now you're going to have next year where it looks very much like they may not have Soto. You just now are down to 3 maybe hitters. And yes, one of them is arguably the best hitter on the planet in Judge. But there's a lot more question marks, and the pitching has question marks. Starting pitcher and relief pitching has question marks. So I think next year is going to be very interesting for New York. Mm-hmm. But like I said at the beginning of the playoffs here, like I said at the beginning of the World Series here, the Yankees had the easiest path to the World Series. Not a doubt in my personal opinion on this. What we saw in the World Series was the Yankees getting exposed for what they were. And that's exactly what happened.
All right, Jack, the 2025 World Series will be?
See, this is how much of a total baseball nerd I am. I legitimately, in the back of my mind, was about to blurt out Mets Dodgers, but that was the NLC. That's not the World Series.
Beautiful.
That would be
That's like a take of the century.
That's like Nightmare World Series, rather.
Yeah.
No, Nightmare World Series.
In the back of my mind.
Sorry, go for it.
I kind of want to get a rematch of Dodgers Astros. I have no idea where the Astros are even. I don't know if they're.
I would be so sad.
I'd hate it, but I want to get revenge on them because they cheated. So,
yeah, agreed.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know who realistically could come out of the AL this year because NL, my biased brain is Dodgers. I'm fully confident that this team has what it takes to run it back, especially if they stay healthy, pitching wise and player wise too. Because Ohtani, a bit more concerned there because he's a two-way guy, and I'm sure he'll be fine from the shoulder issue, which I hope doesn't affect his pitching that badly because he is going to be pitching. You almost forget that he's a pitcher. That's the funny thing is that you almost forget that this guy can absolutely pitch the lights out of any game. So,
100%.
Yeah, he I don't know. I don't know who could come out of the AL, but I'm pretty confident in the Dodgers. I'm gonna go. I don't know if Cleveland is a realistic pick to run it back because they lost to the Yankees. I don't know. That's a tough call for me.
Do you want to just say one thing real quick, kind of adding on with mine?
Sure.
Yeah. So I just want to kind of throw it out here again, and this is bias and a little bit of logistics in there too. I legitimately think that if Seattle makes the playoffs, they still go all the way purely because of their pitching, because of how strong the pitching core is, and they're going to have that same core this coming year. So legitimately, it's if the hitting can at least somewhat produce what it needs to be doing. When you take a look at this team, the team was built to be in the postseason. Mm-hmm. I think that the only question for them is getting to the postseason.
Right. Yeah.
If you get there.
This is a weird spot that I think the National League has several teams I could see Yeah, they could make the World Series. They could win the World Series. Dodgers, of course. Then you have the triumvirate in the NL East: Braves, Mets, Phillies, and I could see any of those 4 teams win the World Series. I wouldn't be surprised. San Diego, very talented team. They could be in that conversation. And then the American League, it's like, okay, the Yankees are favorites. They're plus 290. The Orioles are second, plus 450. The Astros are plus 550. Then like Texas, Seattle, Cleveland are 1,200. Minnesota, Detroit plus 1,300. And it's like, I don't like those are the teams that I don't see the path. I just don't see it. I know one of these teams has to win the American League pennant. That's the problem. But like, and then beyond Kansas City at 1,800 plus 1,800, I don't think like Toronto, Tampa, the A's, the Angels, or White Sox, like you're like no shot there. But I would say my 2025 World Series prediction. 1995 Redux. I guess Cleveland, Atlanta. I don't know. I don't like any of the odds here. I don't think I think all these teams have like great flaws, and I wish there was like a way you could like have 2 NL teams play in the World Series, because I feel like that would be a better World Series than NL versus AL at the moment.
See, I was right. Dodgers, Mets. There you go.
Yes. Yeah. That felt like the real World Series this year, but
It did.
I guess it does depend on where Soto goes. If Soto stays as a Yankee, stays in the Bronx, I think they should be the favorites. But I don't exactly trust them to make it back because, like you said, they don't have the deepest lineup here. You know, it's Judge, and in this case, Soto. Stanton, while I believe he's a Hall of Famer, while I believe he's one of the best 300 players to ever walk the earth, he's not exactly, a 162-game player anymore. Playoffs, yeah, absolutely, he's going to be a menace, but
Oh yeah.
Like the Astros, you're losing Bregman. That core is getting older and older. They have their own health issues. Baltimore, they have won 0 playoff games. I understand that's like a bit of a cop out. That's like the same logic team or you use against the Ravens for like Super Bowl conversations. But where is the aura on this team? Where is the aura? They don't have the aura. There is no aura. Every other team in baseball, even the Yankees actively have a policy: shave your facial hair, remove your aura. They still have aura. It comes through. The Orioles have 0 aura. I am not afraid of them in any series. They probably lose Burns, knowing how that franchise operates. Then again, Houston is going to miss pieces. Texas, what are we doing with Texas? Like, no. Seattle,
Texas,
yeah,
Texas was the proof of what we were talking about earlier, that you spent $500 million to finish 3rd or finish 4th. The year that they won the World Series, 2023, was just the anomaly.
They did win the World Series, though. So
yeah, they did.
How is that an anomaly that they just win the World Series out of nowhere?
Right.
That's so weird.
They went from being sellers to World Series to sellers.
It's so strange. In Seattle, like you said, if they make the playoffs, yeah, I would pick them over any of these other teams. But that is a humongous if, because we know how this team likes to underperform. Cleveland, what's the pitching? Where is the pitching? Where is the pitching? I cannot find it. Mm-hmm. Where is the pitching? Minnesota underperformed like crazy last year. Detroit, outside of Scoobel, where is the pitching? Who's starting game 2 of a playoff series for you? Then Boston has some talent, but again, where's the pitching? And then Kansas City, like, be serious. They have plenty of pitching, but where's the lineup depth? They're sort of like the Yankees issue, but instead of having a generational, like, Judge, they have a generational Wit. And then again, beyond that, it's not really much of a discussion. And
the Royals feel like the Yankees if the Yankees had one less hitter and somehow less pitching.
I would argue the Royals had more pitching than the Yankees.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, they just traded Soto for a couple of arms.
Yeah, the bullpen ended up being pretty good at the end with Urseg, and they brought in another guy at the deadline. I'm blanking on his name, but he was excellent after the break. But
did you talk about the Blue Jays at all?
Blue Jays are plus 3,000. I don't consider them in the same conversation.
I don't either. But I do think that they at least have some pieces that make them interesting.
They are a more interesting sell team to me than potential World
Series.
Series.
I agree, but at the same time, I also think that if they do decide to try and keep, they've got some really interesting things to kind of build around here when it comes to that rotation and having guys like Witt and Vladdy. Like, are they the best players to build over? No, I'm not going to say they are. But there's still some interest. I agree that they are more of a sell candidate than anything. I'm just saying if they decide to keep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then for context, the NL, Dodgers plus 215, Braves plus 425, Phillies plus 550, Mets plus 700, Padres plus 850, and then you get the big drop-off, D-backs 16-1, Cubs 18-1, Brewers 22-1, Reds 28-1, Cardinals, Giants, Pirates, Nats. Nats at 80-1. I'm just saying that might be worth $1 bet. Marlins
Maybe, honestly,
130-1, Rockies 200-1.
Put a bet on the A's this year just for the Sacramento.
Oh my goodness!
At that point,
the Sacramento Athletics of Las Vegas.
Yeah, I love it. I don't love it.
The worst thing.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
So, all right. Question numero dos. We'll start with you.
Question one that went forever.
Yeah, question one was the World Series one. Question number dos. That is how language works.
Yeah, I got that part.
Who will employ Juan Soto in 2025?
So I get kicked off for saying the Dodgers?
No.
No, you do get kicked off for not following the format.
Okay. LA Dodgers. Los Angeles Dodgers. It's got to be 3 words.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm new to this still.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex,
yeah.
Who will employ Juan Soto in 2025?
OMG. The Mets are
Those
going
3
to.
letters. Those 3 letters.
Yeah, but you can still say OOHMEMGGE. It's fine. It works.
Okay.
Sure.
Or you want me to be even worse? Oh my God. There we go. That's also 3 words.
That's true. All right.
I work in every way.
Where will Juan Soto play in 2025? Who will employ him? My 3 words are banning Mac now. I understand he's going to end up on the Mets, and that lineup is going to be sick. I actually do think, so obviously I'm not a Mets fan. I'm far from a Mets fan. I would have rooted for them against the Padres, by the way.
Same.
And I did root for them against the Phillies. If you sign Juan Soto, that means Alonso is probably not coming back. I still have my issues with the pitching. You are going to get Senga for a full season, but I don't exactly know where you're getting the other 1,000 and change innings. So I have some issues, and I do wonder if the Mets, they have a bit of a stars, like a studs and duds mentality. Like Jack, you'll appreciate this, like the 2021 Rams. That you have Aaron Donald, and you have Ramsey, and you have Stafford, and you have Kupp. But then it's like you're filling in a lot of positions on the field. I think the Mets had a bit of the same shtick here that, yes, you got magnificent seasons from Jose Iglesias, right? Okay, great. That's not exactly sustainable. Like, yeah, Jose Iglesias is like a legend in like short spurts, but that's not exactly sustainable. But you bring up Luis Angel Acuna for the full season, and you start to fill in these spots. And I think the Mets might be better served to get, if you're going to pay Soto $50 million a year, let's say, you might be better served to fill that with 10 or with $5-10 million players than one Juan Soto. As good as Juan Soto is, I don't know if that's a discussion that Mets fans want to have. And like you look at, say, the Dodgers and the Braves, in theory, have just wonderful lineups 1 through 9. I think the Mets are pretty close to that, but you're going to, if you're getting Soto, you are probably losing Alonso, and you put Soto in. Martinez is a year older, and I think he's a free agent. So you might lose both Martinez and Alonso. You're replacing them with Soto. Okay, that is probably a solid trade-off, but then you're adding another out potentially into that lineup. And your first base options, like unless you sign Christian Walker, that's a big downgrade from Pete Alonso. And your DH options, that's a downgrade from JD Martinez. And JD Martinez is a de facto hitting coach in that organization. I think that would hurt them as well. So I know Uncle Stevie has all the money, so he could probably sign everybody if he wanted to. But I do wonder what the Mets are going to do here if they get Soto.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Like, I think it makes logical sense to sign Soto, but at the same time, there's also a lot of question marks that go right along with it, and that's going to be really the game that they're going to play. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I think the Yankees could also re-sign Soto, is that they already took him to a World Series. Like, they did not win it, but they took him there. It's going to be interesting, I think. The one thing I think is that may honestly hurt the Yankees with trying to re-sign Soto, and again, I'm not saying this is going to have too much of an impact, but it might, is Garrett Cole opting out. Like, just because it is an ace-level pitcher that is saying, I'm done, I'm going somewhere else, trying to get more money. But that can be, I'm not saying that it's the end all be all, but I think it could be a factor.
Yeah, I still think Cole ends up in New York. They'll figure out. They just have to add like a year to the end of his contract.
Yeah,
so
they'll have to like adjust it slightly.
Yeah, I think
a year.
Yeah, I think he'll end up being a Yankee for life, like the whole shtick. And that's fine. Just I think what is going to impact the Yankees more, you're losing Gleyber Torres. And I know Yankees fans love to hate Gleyber Torres, but Gleyber Torres was a really good second baseman for you for half a decade. And I understand, well, he's not Robinson Cano or he's not XYZ, he's not Jose Altuve. Okay, well, he's a top 10 second baseman in the league. That's hard to duplicate that production. And look at what you're dealing with on the other side of the diamond at shortstop. Derek Jeter left, and you have not figured out shortstop in 10 years now. So when you lose that pillar of stability, that pillar of, Gleyber's not the best second baseman, but he's pretty good. He'll give you like a 110 OPS plus every year and adequate enough defense with a lot of errors, but adequate enough defense. He'll give you a good at bat. He reached base every game of the playoffs besides Game 5 of the World Series. Sign me up for that. He was your leadoff hitter for large portions of the season, and when you're going on all cylinders, he's your logical leadoff guy. And losing him is going to matter. I don't think losing Rizzo matters as much because you have Ben Rice there. Hopefully they can figure out Jazz. Maybe Jazz is your second baseman. You try to get a third baseman in there. Maybe you get I think Chapman's staying in San Francisco.
Is Nolan Arenado a free agent, or is he?
I would not want to touch any Cardinal with a 10-foot pole.
Oh no, I'm aware. But what I'm saying is that
New York would be fun.
I like Goldschmidt too much to see him in pinstripes.
Fair enough. That could be, the Yankees could be some interesting landing spot for some places. And then of course you have Soto. You have Jason Dominguez is coming back for a full season. That could be interesting. And they have some guys down on the farm. Spencer Jones, I think he's still a prospect. It's sort of like a Judge 2.0, I guess. But I don't know. Like I said earlier, the AL, I have the ick, if you will. I have the ick.
I 100% get it. Like, it's the AL just does not feel as strong. Did not feel as strong this year. I think that could make a good comeback this coming year. But I also think that, like, when we were making our predictions, right, through the playoffs, we were looking at these matchups like Tigers v. Astros. We were looking at Guardians v. Tigers with this, and it just didn't feel like it mattered.
It didn't feel like real playoff matchups.
It didn't, yeah. Like, there was none that we were honestly looking forward to. And the ones that we were honestly looking forward to were mostly for meme reasons.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted to see the Guardians versus... Yeah.
Tigers.
I wanted to see Tigers or Guardians v. Mets purely so then the MLB couldn't use any of the marketing that they had been planning. Because that would have been funny. But
then you have like the Astros losing early. It's like, okay, we all think the Astros are a good baseball team generally. It's like, okay, the Astros Yankees, that would have been probably a good series, and then the Astros lose. It's just like it feels like it just took the wind out of the sails. It's like all those years it was Cavs Warriors, Well, if one of those teams had lost early and it's like Cavs, Pelicans in the finals or Warriors, Pacers, you're like, this doesn't feel the same. Even if it's Cavs, Warriors for the 4th time in a row. So it just
what
felt...
I'm hoping may or may not happen in MLS with Messi, because his team just got pushed to the brink tonight. So if they lose their next game, they're out in the first round.
I hope that happens. Have you guys tried the Messi chips?
Messi.
The taco
He knows
flavor?
the meme. I'm proud. I love that.
Of course I know the meme. It's great. It's a great meme.
Fantastic meme.
Okay. Have you guys had the Messi chips before?
I don't think so.
The taco flavored? Okay, darn. My mom liked those. Anyways, my final question before we move on. I'm going to have to adjust the trivia because I made it specifically for Alex, but now Jack's on the show, so I don't want Jack to be left out. But regardless, question number 3. Alex, we will start with you. Corbin Burns, opening day starter for the...
Ooh, that's...
You know where I need him to go for the stick.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Actually, I wonder where the Braves open this season.
So, okay, I've got it. I've got mine.
Okay.
For Corbin Burns, he will be the opening day starter in pinstripes. I think the Yankees go after Burns. And is it going to be the best matchup for him? Absolutely not. But they're going to be the team that pays him the most. And they're going to be under kind of that fire of, hey, we almost won a World Series. We were just a little bit away. Oh, no, we lost Cole. Well, we got to replace Cole first. How do you get to replace Cole? With Corbin Burns. So, honestly, right now, I think that the pinstripes will do it purely out of desperation.
Interesting. All right, Jack. Corbin Burns, opening day starter for the...
Out of nothing but bias and a tweet that he posted that said that where he put 3 eye emojis over the Dodgers winning the World Series. I'm going to say the Dodgers.
That was funny as heck.
I've got no idea. I've honestly got no idea. I don't know what he could go anywhere at this point. It's one of those things.
At that point, the 3 awards become not opening Dodgers.
Honestly.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not even going to be the opening day starter if he ends up with the Dodgers. Yeah, he's not going to.
Don't the Dodgers start in Japan next year?
They do. And if Ohtani is ready to pitch, Ohtani's a day 1 starter.
Then it's what it's going to be is it's going to be Ohtani game 1, Yoshinobu game 2, and if it's a 3-game series, they're going to have signed Roki Sasaki.
I forgot about that whole saga. Darn it.
They're just going to have Team Japan. They're just going to go from being the Los Angeles Dodgers to the Los Angeles Nippon Ham Fighters.
Japangeles.
No, we're going to go full Phoenix for Ace Attorney with the land of Japanifornia.
It's fine. It's from Big Hero 6, like San Francisco?
Yep. Yeah, San Francisco, but also one of my favorite game series of all time is the Ace Attorney franchise.
Yes.
And people
Objection.
Hold it! Take that! The kind of like conception joke is that they are all from Japanifornia because it's somehow the laws are like a mix of Japan and California as well as a bunch of other game mechanics needing the law to work. So
okay,
it's one of those weird like visual novel games, but yeah,
dude, I love Ace Attorney. It's so good.
Okay, so first I'll give you the odds here. This is from bookies.com. Mets plus 350, Red Sox plus 400, Cubs plus 450, Blue Jays plus 500, Orioles plus 800, Rangers plus 950, Dodgers 12-1, Nats 14-1, the field 14-1. I obviously want him to go to Washington because I feel like that would be poetic with 10 years after the Scherzer signing, and they have a great young core that they just need to drop an ace on. And is Burns as good as Scherzer was at that point? I don't know, probably not, but hey. Why not?
Boston is really trade for Scherzer again. It'll be fine.
Oh, God. Boston is really enticing to me. But Corbin Burns will be the opening day starter for the Baltimore Orioles again. I do think they have to figure out at some point you have to spend money. Like I understand you have a new owner and Rubenstein eventually will spend money. Spend money. bring Burns back. Like, re-up with your core.
Just in general. to
Until
owners.
Adley, until Gunner, until all these young guys, we are committed to winning. Because everything you do as an organization right now is you are like, it's what Gunner sees, it's what Adley sees, it what's the Mayos of the world, the Basayos, all the young guys in the team, even the guys that are still in Norfolk, all of them are seeing, how are they handling Corbin Burns? Right? He went out and through the longest outing of his career in the playoffs, he willed us to that game. The offense didn't show up, but he put his balls on the line and pitched his heart out. And if you don't go re-sign him, it's one thing if like the Mets give him $75 million a year, then it's like, okay, well, we're not going to give him $75 million a year.
Yeah.
But if you are not making a competitive offer, that can rub the players the wrong way. Finally got it.
Right.
So at some point you have to spend money. At some point you're going to have to go big fish hunting, big game hunting. And I think this is the time to do it. He was on your team for a full season. Go re-up with him. If it doesn't work, who cares? You are committing. You are showing commitment to guys on your team. That to me speaks volumes. Again, even if it doesn't work, even if it's not every contract needs to work. Sometimes part of that contract value is getting buy-in from the rest of the organization. Like, this is a team committed to winning. This is a team committed to spending money. The Orioles 30 years ago were among the top spenders in Major League Baseball. Now they're not. And they're a reasonable enough market that, yeah, you should be a top 10-ish spending team, especially when you're this good and this young. Just go. You're going to lose Santander in all likelihood. Go re-sign Corbin Burns and bring in a nice outfielder to pair with your young guys. You have an infield stud. You have a catching stud. Go get an outfield stud that's younger than Santander and probably more. Santander had a really good power season, but the other parts of his game were lacking a little bit. Like, go make moves, man.
So I'm going to have something here that probably is going to need to be fully cut out for later because it's going to be one of the few times that I really praise the Astros on something.
Oh, no.
It's kind of going along the same, what you just said here, that we've proven that method works. It's called the Houston Astros and their core. The core of Carlos Correa, George Springer, Jose Altuve, all 2'3" of him. It is... Like, they proved that core worked and that investing in a young core can get you championships for years to come. And you need to have at least a little bit of faith in those guys as well as go out and get some of the bigger ones. Justin Verlander, one of the biggest things when they got him, he was still in his mid-30s. But they're like, you know what? Hey, we think you're still going to be absolutely amazing with us. You know what he was? Absolutely amazing with the Astros. What, he won 2 Cy Youngs? Something like that?
I think he just won 1, but 2 World Series.
Yeah, 2 World Series, 1 Cy Young Award. They proved that it makes sense. You build from within. If you are lucky enough, that's one of the other things that's so weird about baseball, right? In the NFL, draft picks are a lot more all right, it's immediately sure who the right draft picks are, right? In baseball, not near as much, right? You have to wait a good few years, usually, mind you, to see whether or not your draft picks pan out. Well, you have a few right now that have really done that. Adley Rutschman, Jackson Holliday, right? Adley right now is arguably the best catcher in the game, and he's only in year 2 or 3. I said
really
arguably.
Strong part in the second half. I'm anti-Adley at the moment.
I understand. I'm still gonna say he's arguably.
Yeah.
In
Austin Wells clears.
We all know who number 1 is, and he's the guy that I went as Halloween for this year. But
now would be a perfect time for you to show the world.
By the way, hey guys, you want to see something funny that I'm definitely not going to regret ever showing on the internet here? I went as Cal Raleigh for Halloween, and I went with that picture of Cal Raleigh.
Beautiful.
I just needed the tape, and I couldn't get the tape on my wrist. This is just before work. Anyway.
Iconic.
But beautiful. But that's the thing here, right? Is that the Astros proved that it works like that. It can work like that. Now you have a chance here. If you are the Baltimore Orioles, right, where you have this incredible young core, you have Rushman, you've got Holiday, you've got Grayson Rodriguez, you've got Colton Cowser, you've got all of these guys that have talent to spare. You have draft picks that you have actually matured up to being very good, not just competent, very good Major League Baseball players. Why would you throw that away? Sign them. You hope that you have draft classes like this. Don't just let it slip away. And I know that Corbin Burns is not part of that draft class, but you know what says a lot to a draft class? Signing the people that help make the draft class better, known as Corbin Burns.
Yeah, if anything,
that was a rant.
You should make big offers, reasonable offers to Fried, to Snell, to Burns, to other big fish on the free agency pond, and you need to show to your young players, hey, we are serious about winning here. I know the Orioles haven't won a World Series since 1983. They haven't played in a World Series since 1983. Act like you have been there before and go spend some money. Look at what the Royals did. I know one example is not the end all be all here, and they got to play the White Sox 25 times. I get it. But the Royals won 56 games last year. The Orioles, were 45 games better in the standings. The Orioles did not spend much money this offseason. They did trade for Burns, so fair enough there. The Royals went out and spent a lot of money. They loaded up every part of the roster, it felt like. And in the playoffs, the Royals won the series. I know the Orioles ended with a better record by a few games. The Royals went out and won the series. The Royals had a better season. They actually won playoff games, plural. The Orioles did not. So go spend some money. Augment your young core with some money from the outside and figure it out. Look at what the Braves did. They go added Charlie Morton and entering the 2021 season. They've added pieces around the core of the Ozzie and Ronald and Freddie core. They go out and added Josh Donaldson in 1 year. They've tried pitching. Some of the pitching didn't work, but even the Cole Hamels, the failed experiment there, the Keuchels, the Felix Hernandez, none of those worked, but you're still taking bites at the apple. Then Charlie Morton worked. He was your game one starter a year you won the World Series, right? The Dodgers have their homegrown talent, and then they supplement it with additions from the outside. Will Smith has won multiple World Series rings with them. You've augmented that core with that group of Smith and Lux and Buellers of the world. Yeah, Kershaw's. You go get an Ohtani. You go trade for Freeman or trade for Betts. You go sign Freeman. Look at the Rangers. You had young guys. You had Young, and you had Heim had a longer tenure, but you have Young. You get Adolis Garcia when he's young. You have Evan Carter. You have Langford now, but you go get a Seager. You go get a Simeon. You go get a DeGrom. And again, not all of those moves worked. DeGrom barely pitched in this season, but you have to set an example for your franchise, and that's important.
It's showing that it's the thought that counts, right? They say that with gifts, right? Like that's why we see a lot of times, like with the A's, right? That especially when it comes to ownership and all that, players can tell when ownership is being genuine about their concerns, about their issues. Right? They can tell when it's not just the corporate speak of, oh, we need to make sure that we cut costs here. And no, if they see that you're at least trying, that you are at least putting your best foot forward to make something happen, the players are going to do more for you because at least at the end of the day, at that point, if the ownership believes that you're the bringer of success for this team, that at least makes the player feel like they're wanted. Whereas, like, say in the Orioles case right here, if they don't go for that, they know they're going to be wanted somewhere else.
Yeah, it's sort of a belief thing. It's a cycle of belief that if you're David Rubenstein and you believe in this team, spend an extra money. And that says to the players, I believe in this team. And the player's like, okay, my owner believes in me. Let's go out and prove it on the field, And again, sometimes not every move works. I saw a graphic the other day, and it was who wins trades the most. And the qualifier for wins the trade, was have a positive +1, or better war value. So you could have a lose-lose trade. And the only team above 50% was the Braves, right? So even the Braves, the best team in this metric, were losing 45% of their trades. You got to try some things sometimes.
This is reminding me of the whole conversation about big market teams versus small market teams. I think it just personally, people are upset that last year we had a World Series where it was two smaller market teams, and then this year we get the two biggest possible market teams, and people are complaining about that both ways. People are like, oh my God, I've never heard of these teams or something like that. They're these more obscure teams from obscure markets. I don't really care about that. I'd rather watch better teams, but then the better teams actually make the World Series the following year. And it's I don't want to watch these giants.
Yeah, they paid for a lot of World Series.
But the thing is, I think it just comes down to ownership and their willingness to spend, because there's no salary cap. You obviously the luxury tax is a thing, but at the same time, if you have ownership that is willing to spend, then this is not a problem. If there are teams out there that exist that have ownership that has the money, they can afford these bigger payrolls, but their teams don't have the biggest payrolls. And it's if you're just willing to spend and pay more people on the outside and on the inside, and show that you care, show that you have concern about the on-field products.
I also don't think that's throwing money at anything that moves works either half the time.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of instances of owners just throwing money at anything. Look at the Rangers over the course of their entire history. But it doesn't always work. But what I'm saying is that at the very least, those teams had something that was true, though, and that's called a belief that the ownership was trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I may or may not be having a thinly veiled little argument on this, but towards a certain team. But
looking at you, White Sox.
I have a few teams, in fact.
Yeah.
But you have to spend at least to try. And if you're doing lowball offers because you're oh, we need to make sure we save payroll for more players and all that, you're telling the player overall they're not worth as much.
Mm-hmm.
That they're not worth as much without other pieces, which half the time is true. But it also means that you're not making a big impact on that player. You're making probably more of a negative impact than anything.
Yeah. We can wrap up this conversation.
Yeah.
Orioles, figure it out. So, Alex, I have an extra special trivia segment for you.
Yay.
Jack, you may participate if you wish. This was, in all sincerity, this was made October 30th at 7 a.m. So it was made before the Dodgers did, in fact, close out the World Series. All so right, my sincerest apologies. Alex, are you ready for your trivia?
I'm nervous. You've been hyping this up a lot. I'm excited for it, but I'm nervous for it.
All right. I have 13 players, or actually 12 players, one ballpark, and one baseball term. They are all tangentially related to our collective favorite board game, Dominion.
Oh, beautiful. Okay.
You have to name the operative word is a kingdom card in Dominion.
Okay.
I know nothing about Dominion.
Great.
Don't worry about it.
I don't think most of our listeners do either.
But, okay, also for a little bit of context, right? Splash and I played this game called Dominion. It is a lot of fun, and we have spent hours playing this game, going into the wee hours of the morning, just testing us out and having fun. So,
yes.
For our viewers that wonder what the heck Dominion is, go to dominion.games and sign up and just start playing. It's a good time.
A lot of fun. Player number one. This player is an MLB Power Pros legend. If you simulate a season, he probably will win the Cy Young.
Ding.
Yes.
Zach Duke.
That is Zach Duke. Duke is the operative card here.
Yeah, Duke is the operative. Duke is the card. Yeah.
Yes.
I will say I don't know as much of the cards as Splash does, just because Splash has like all of
That's why I'm giving you baseball clues, not.
I appreciate that.
Clues.
Thank you. Yes. There's one specific one I'm looking
see
for.
how this is gonna work now. I just
Yeah.
have to know what the cards in Dominion are.
Okay, number 2. This World Series winning manager famously lost the World Series lots of times. He also was a very good player on the Dodgers. I think he was a World Series winning player too. He guided several teams to the World Series, including the 2002 Giants and the 2022 Astros. His son now plays for the Nationals.
Baker, Dusty Baker.
Yeah,
no,
Dusty Baker.
But Baker, my favorite card in Dominion. How did that take me that long?
Real. All right, number
Baker
3.
After Baker.
Number 3. This ballpark used to be called AT&T Park.
Oh, Oracle.
Yes,
Park.
Oracle.
Yep.
All right, number 4. Okay. This player once threw a fake no-hitter at Dodger Stadium. It only went 8 innings because his Angels lost 1-0.
Oh,
I don't remember. I remember that game. I don't remember who.
I know what you're talking about. Oh, what?
He was top 5 in Cy Young voting with the Angels at least once. I think it was just the one time
with the Angels. What year was that fake no hitter?
I think it was 2008. Also
gosh.
played on the Padres for the last.
Weaver.
Yes, Jared Weaver.
Let's
Weaver
go.
All right, you are on a roll, Alex.
I'm actually doing well in a trivia. I can't believe this.
Number 5. I will give the caveat that this card is one of the knights, so it's not just like the card is not. This is not a card. This is one of the names of one of the knights. This player pitched for the Phillies, pitched for the Pirates. His last name is if you stumble or you fail at something, another word for stumble or fail or, not overcome an obstacle. The operative word here is also the last name of a player who threw 2 no-hitters, and his first name is what he does not want hitters to do against him.
Hits, Walker.
Hit a blank against them.
Dinger, Homer Bailey?
Yes, Bailey is the operative word.
Yeah!
The original player was Bailey Falter, but Homer Bailey also works.
Okay, Bailey. There we go. I forgot that Bailey is a card. Okay.
Number 6. This pitcher, this lefty, Venezuelan lefty for the Phillies, is inexplicably God in the playoffs every time without fail. He sits in the lower 90s. He gets every Brave out every single time, even the Rays. He is the third banana to Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola.
I know what this is too. Like that's what sucks. I want to say it's Zach Eflin, but he's on the Orioles.
He's on the
now.
Rays. He is on the Orioles now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Orioles. Okay. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. Who is the next pitcher in line?
Name this baby-faced assassin.
Oh my gosh. I know this too. That's what's annoying me. This is like actual, like right now baseball too. After Nola and Wheeler, I'm tapping on this one.
All right, that would be Ranger Suarez.
Oh my gosh, it was Ranger Suarez. Ranger is the card, operative card, right?
Yes, operative name. All right, next. This player, this is probably the toughest one I have. This player is a Braves legend in the way that like Willie Bloomquist is a Mariners legend.
Oh, okay.
Ridiculously fast, defensive replacement. His first name is the same first name as an iconic movie from the 90s, with the titular name being the titular character. His last name is also a name found in MLB Power Pros, one of the starting pitchers for one of the teams in success mode.
Wait, one of the teams in success mode?
Yes, he is the pitcher of that team.
Okay, that actually might be what helps me here.
Yeah, and that's also the operative word here.
I don't think it's Aegis.
It's that team.
Shield. James Shields?
No.
No. Okay. So if it's on that team, if it's on the Aegis, what the heck? What is Beardy's name?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one.
Oh.
Also, it's a Doug-ing NBA player.
Wall?
Yes, Wall is correct. Yeah.
Yes,
Wall.
let's go!
Yes.
I know this is taking me a while, and I probably sound really stupid during all of this, but I'm honestly proud of getting these.
You're trying to guess Forest Wall, to be fair. All right, next
Forest
player.
Wall, okay.
Current Rockies closer had to step away
Bard.
with. Oh yes, Daniel Bard. That is correct. Good job. All right, next a Mets, Dodgers, Marlins, Padres. I think two A's Hall of Fame catcher.
Oh, I was about to say Dontrell Willis. That's not right though.
No.
Hall of Fame catcher.
Yes.
Hit
a famous home run in the first game after 9/11.
Oh, that's is that Piazza?
Yes, Piazza is the operative word here.
Is there actually a card named Piazza?
Yes.
That would surprise me even.
Yes. Okay, next.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, next. This player was famously traded from the Rays to the Pirates in one of the worst trades of all time. He was a really good pitcher with the Rays. He was not very good with the Pirates.
I know this. I know this one. Chris Archer.
Yes, Chris Archer is correct. The next two players have the same first name. Player number one, an all-star, inexplicably an all-star. I said he was horrendous the entire time. Then he finally became horrendous. Braves sixth starter, kind of the Gwinnett ace. If he's starting for the Braves, I want to poop my pants. If he's starting Gwinnett, he is the best pitcher on the planet. 2023 MLB All-Star.
Oh, the 2023 All-Star. Not this year, last year.
Yes.
Respect
your blank.
Bryce Elder.
Yes, Bryce Elder is correct. Next player.
Thank you for that hint. Appreciate that.
Next player. Sort of famous for his facial hair. The fifth banana in Seattle, depending on what day of the week it is. From Texas.
The fifth banana from Seattle is like a great name for like a comedy band.
Yeah.
Known for his facial hair?
Yeah, like kinda, sorta. He has like distinguishable facial hair compared to like other MLB players. From Texas.
Bryce Miller?
Yes, Bryce Miller is correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think of him for his facial hair, but I see what you're getting at. Okay.
Last player, Yankees catcher / first baseman. He did actually play catcher a little bit this season, but mainly played first base and DH. Famously hit 3 home runs in a game this season, and his name is also
Sorry, Austin Wells.
No, the other one.
Trevino.
No. He's a catcher, like full-time catcher. I'm talking about the other catcher.
I'm trying to think of who's the other catcher with them.
I
really only know Wells.
He was a rookie this season. I hyped him up a lot.
I don't actually know on that one.
Okay. Chicken fried
steak.
Oh, the other one. He famously played against, or he had a bat against Max Fried, and it was the greatest thing ever because it was blank, or it was fried blank.
Chicken?
No.
Chicken fried chicken.
Okay, you're gonna take the L on this
watching
one.
Watching you process like every fried food imaginable is.
It has been rice, my friend.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Rice being the operative word. Okay, last one. This is a
chicken. I don't. Chicken fried rice. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, last one. This is a baseball term. The first word of which is a Dominion card. This is what I have complained about being the scoring event for the last 3 runs in the World Series.
Error?
No.
Sacrifice flies.
Yes, that is
correct.
Sacrifice. Good job, Jack.
I got one.
Yeah. What?
That's a card in the game?
Yeah,
sacrifice fly?
No, sacrifice.
Oh, sacrifice. Oh.
Yes.
Just sacrifice. Oh,
I said
have
sacrifice
like that.
fly because he said baseball term. or
Yes,
part of a baseball term.
congratulations,
That's-
Jack. You got
that's
a point, my friend.
If you would have
I
done
will
more
tell you this-
baseball terms, I probably would have just terms
I-
like that. I
I'm a
probably
little
would've
disappointed in you,
actually
Splash,
answered
that you didn't put King's Court in there somewhere for me.
I thought about it, but that would have been more of a roundabout. That wouldn't have been like a player's last name.
They say like this is a term near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Here, this
With a
card
bunch
lets you
of
play an
wavy
action
yellow
thrice.
Ks. So, all right, congratulations, Alex. You got 11. You got 11 out of 14. You missed 2. Jack came in clutch, got the last one. Good job, Jack.
Nice.
This is watching
Not
TJ
stupid.
Watt, basically. Good job,
Very nice.
everybody.
And I'll take that. That's, I think, probably the best performance I've ever had in the trivia.
Yeah. All right, it rivals
Keep
my
doing this.
one performance on that Jeopardy board.
That was honestly, to be fair, that was legendary for
Yeah.
you on that.
Ice in the veins.
You absolutely
Ice in the
killed
veins, boys. All right. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, our time to ourselves. Jack, if you are unfamiliar, you take 1 minute. You can talk about anything you wish. You can talk baseball. You can talk regular sports. You can not talk sports. I've done the whole gamut here. I've done everything from a moment of silence to why the Braves are going to win the World Series. So anything is fair play. Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go first this time.
Okay, go ahead, Alex.
All
I'll
right,
give you a
someone
countdown.
give me a countdown.
Sure. 3, 2, 1.
Hey there. So, what I want to talk about a little bit is I twisted my knee when I was golfing in a tournament last week. And why I'm bringing it up here is I haven't been able to play baseball since because my knee is still very much injured. And I gotta tell you, it sucks. I'm like watching like these posts on Facebook of like, oh hey, got a pickup game going here, got a pickup game going here. And not being able to play in any of them hurts. Like I just want to play baseball, man. Like I'm trying to get my knee better. I'm doing any kind of like rehab on my own, but it's not really going that well. I know with twists, you gotta be careful and you gotta play it right, but man, it just sucks not being able to play. Like there's a game tomorrow morning that I want to go to that I will not be able to go to because my knee is in not good enough shape. I'm still having trouble going upstairs. So if that's the case, then I don't think I can go try leg out a single or really get to go and pitch even a few innings of that. So take care of your health, but man, it sucks being injured, man.
Yes, injuries do in fact suck.
All right. Splash, you want to go next? Or
Sure.
all right, cool. I'll count you down. Here we go. We got 3, 2, 1, begin.
This is going to hit a very particular set of our fan base. I compare the 2024 World Series to the Star Wars sequels, so 7, 8, and 9. So growing up, Dodgers-Yankees was like the quintessential baseball series, right? You have the iconic World Series. They'd played in the World Series. I think this was their 12th different time. 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s. Like it felt like every year was the Dodgers-Yankees World Series. And me being like a history buff, it's like all these iconic moments, all these iconic players played for the Dodgers, played for the Yankees. The used to be a Subway Series, and then you have and then the Dodgers move out to LA, and it's like the two biggest markets in sports. And now this World Series kind of fell flat for me. And Game 1 was great. Freddie has his moment with the walk-off grand slam. I think Game 2, Game 3, Game 4, I thought were like just not super interesting. And then Game 5 is interesting, but it's interesting in the way of a choke, not like a comeback. It would be one thing if it was like a famous comeback victory. And it just feels to me that it was more on the side of the Yankees blew it than the Dodgers like came back and won. And like, yeah, the Dodgers made things happen, but it was a lot of self-inflicted wounds. And like, if you're making a highlight reel of Game 5, you are including errors. You are including like a misplay at first. You're including sacrifice flies. And yes, I know that's like how baseball's won, but like I watched Game 5 and there wasn't a moment that said, yep, this is an all-time great game. Game 1, there was a moment. Game 2 through 5, there was not a moment. And I feel like we were kind of robbed. We get this all-time matchup and it didn't live up to the hype like Star Wars 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying.
I totally
Yeah,
get where you're
but-
coming from.
Like,
Yeah.
good job, Dodgers, but it's also the Yankees kind of fell on their faces. Like, the Dodgers did more than enough. Like, trust me, they did more than enough. They won the first 3 games. But, like, Game 5 just felt like, instead of it being a coronation, it felt like the guy bringing the bringing the crown over tripped. And, like, by default, the ground became the king, not the
We had to
king.
run over and pick it up, basically.
Yeah. It's like,
Which, to
Like-
be fair, at that point, is more of a statement on how the fact that the Yankees were more exposed than anything else.
yeah, that's true. It ended up being like more of an expose him, as opposed to a great moment, you know.
Yeah. Although I will say, though, like, again, not to take any of it away, the walk-off grand slam by Freeman is still honestly probably one of my favorite sports
Oh, that
members
bro,
ever.
I was following
when
along
you
on the
when
radio.
you take that
iconic.
moment, when you take that moment, and like the Dodgers, or I think the MLB did too, like they played both that home run and the Kurt Gibson home
Yep,
run.
that's
at the
what I was about to
same
bring
time.
up.
And when the balls get hit in sync at the same time, you hear Vin Scully and Joe Davis both yell, "She is gone" at the same time. It was
Chills.
incredible.
Also, the fact that like those home runs happened on the exact same day.
Same
Multiple
time
years-
too.
Yeah, same
They
time.
both were hit at 8:37 local time.
Same
Yep.
situation, down a run, pinch
Injured
or
player
not pinch
comes
hitter,
in.
injured player, right field, lefty, former MVP.
You could not write it any better.
Yeah,
Also,
Hollywood would say no to your script.
that it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Hollywood
Although, to be
would
fair,
say, nah,
even
this is too unbelievable.
I gotta tell you guys, it's also like even the memers love it for the sole fact if it was the 696th World Series game. 696. That was beautiful.
Nice.
I believe this is the part where you say "nice."
This is the part where I say nice. I was waiting for someone else to say it. Thank you.
Also,
very much.
Aaron Boone, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. 1, why are you bringing in Cortez in that situation? 2, Freddie Freeman is like agnostic lefty righty, so that's pointless. If anything, pitch to Betts because Betts isn't as good against lefties as you think he is. And Tim Hill was just sitting there, and Tim Hill one of them owns Betts. So why don't you pitch to Betts? I don't know. Whatever.
It made very little sense.
It reminds
Although
me
to give
It
Boone
reminds
a
me of
little.
the situation where early in the year the Angels chose not to pitch to Shohei, and then Mookie Betts hit a grand slam.
This is a fair point.
I'll also say to give Boone at least a little bit of a way out. I don't know what you're expecting if you're throwing 93-mile-per-hour fastballs right over the heart of the plate belt high
Good
to
point.
some of the best hitters on the planet.
Good point.
Anyway,
All right.
all right,
Jack-
Jack, you got an idea of what you like to talk about?
Kinda, yeah. We'll
All
dive
right.
in.
Well,
How long do I
all
get?
right.
A minute?
Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, just
Basic.
just about a minute. All right, I'll count you
All right.
down. 3, 2, 1, begin.
Hi, folks. There was a recent period in which LA sports were on a roll, and it was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. I think it started with the Rams on a Thursday night football game, a big upset win over the Minnesota Vikings. I still don't know how in the world they pulled that off. But the whole thing got me thinking. It's really, really weird to me how I somehow managed to make it seem so seamless that I follow like 8 sports or something like that. I watch football, I watch hockey, I watch basketball, I watch baseball, I watch soccer, I watch racing, multiple different disciplines of racing. I used to follow esports a lot more too when I was I actually had a job in the scene too. So I don't know, honestly. I tried to think about a way that I could properly explain it. I guess I use a very unhealthy amount of Twitter, and I guess that that's not the smartest thing to do. I've engaged way more than I probably should, but I guess staying on social media helps if you want to be a sports fan. If you really want to be like a hardcore dedicated sports fan and you want to follow like all these different teams and all these different leagues, and it feels really seamless. And it's kind of crazy to think to me how much of that like I consume from social media. And it also makes me kind of wonder if that's sort of the way going forward for sports. Because like in football, they have red zone. Hockey is also starting to sort of embrace like a whip around coverage type deal. And it kind of, I just wonder if that might become the new norm, because I know that there's a lot of downfall lately with regional sports networks like Bally Sports, or I guess it's FanDuel Sports Network now is becoming a thing. I just kind of wonder, like, if that's sort of going to become the new way for people to follow sports, is more like a whip around style thing. Like, could maybe MLB benefit from that, because they've got games basically every day. They've got plenty of games during the season. I don't know. Whip around coverage feels like the new norm when it comes to, like, people don't have like long attention spans. I just talked about how I'm getting a lot of information from my sports off of social media, and I wonder, short-term attention span, is that why? I'm not saying my attention span per se is necessarily short, but I just wonder if that's sort of like a new norm that we're going down, where instead of like maybe watching just one game all day long and only focusing our attention on that one game, maybe it could benefit sports to like have an option where you could go bounce around between all the big highlights during all the games that are happening. Is that maybe the future of sports? Is that maybe something that more leagues can entertain going forward? I think that some leagues, like I mentioned, NFL Red Zone. I mentioned the NHL is starting to try it too. They've got something called Coast to Coast every Thursday in Canada. Amazon Prime airs like whip around coverage of all the games happening that day. Could more leagues like the MLB or the NBA try it? I think it could be fun. I think it could be a fun little experiment. That's something I would enjoy.
Yeah, no, I completely understand it. The one thing I have that's maybe an issue with that is just that with NFL Red Zone and all that, all the games are happening simultaneously, and it makes and it's one time a week as opposed to multiple times a week. So I don't know. I agree that I think it's a good idea and concept. I'm just not sure how well it would translate.
To baseball specifically, I don't know. I think you could do it like once a week. Like you could pick it, like the NHL I mentioned, they do it once a week. They just take all the games that day. Not every team is playing that day, but they'll still take all the games and just do a whip around. I think maybe in concept you could do like, I don't know, like Friday. I don't want to say Friday. I almost didn't say Friday night because they have the Friday night baseball on Apple TV, but like maybe
like Wednesday nights are usually a popular night in baseball. I know they do have MLB Big Inning, at least with my MLB TV package. So they have like a guy in studio and he's bouncing around to the 4, 5, 6 games that are on. I think like TikTok is going to be huge for baseball. Just like the Foolish Baseball made this point, so I'm not breaking new ground here. But like the vertical way baseball is played, like you can see the pitcher, the batter, the catcher, all in one frame. You see what happens. Like football, it's football, basketball, hockey. Those are like horizontal sports. So TV's getting bigger, great for those sports. Not exactly great for baseball, right? So baseball,
it was just a thought that I formulated.
Baseball in a vertical environment could be very nice.
It was just a thought that I had because like I was just thinking to myself about how I get so much of my sports information from social media. Like like my attention span, it can be hard to like keep track of so many different things at the same time. But when you have like a single feed like Twitter and you're seeing like tweets from like Shams or Hassan or Schefter or Rapsheet or all those guys, like it's just crazy how that information, that flow of information, you're getting so many things at the same time. Maybe it can be some people like that. Some people, it's their only way of following and being able to keep up with like a bunch of different sports. If you're like me and you follow so many sports at the same time, I don't know. It's just, it's a thought. Maybe it could help baseball going forward.
Yeah, I think that's a good pull. Good pull. All right, fellas, that will bring us to the end of the episode. And unlike the last time or 2 times ago when I hosted, I'm going to actually do the outro properly. If you like our content, you can like our video on YouTube, or you can give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you may listen to podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at LAR_baseball. You can follow me at Mr. Splashman19. You can follow Alex at the Sports Guy 242. You can follow Jack at Starblade
125.
Starblade
that is
125.
me. That is me having my gamer tag as my Twitter handle. That's just how it is. Deal with it.
I get it. Yeah,
real gangster moment. You can follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. And with that said, hug your family members. Toodles.
Aaron Donald is nice.
That is true.